Hey, assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope y'all are doing well. Today I wanted to talk about this. This is my mother's undergraduate thesis at Hassan Second University. La Fac Hassan Thani pour les connoisseurs, for the Moroccans, but the rest of the people, it's just Hassan II University Faculty of Letters, which is so funny. Faculty of Letters. It's literally translated from French. Like in French, we say, lettres, which means literature, and it was translated Faculty of Letters. It's my first time reading my mother's research. When I found this, I was like, what? My mom used to study? Like, it's just bizarre to me. I'm so interested to study this, or to read her work. I didn't ever study formally linguistics or literature, but it's something I genuinely love. I love reading and I love studying languages just like as a hobby. When I was a child, I used to always go with my mom to the library or to the bookstore. I never really put one and one together, like, yeah, I like languages and my mom likes languages. It's just something I'm newly exploring. So I wanted to share this. Applied Linguistics Methods and Techniques of Teaching English in Moroccan Secondary Schools. 1987. Damn. Let's just get into it. I'm not going to read through all of this, but I did want to look at some interesting facts. One is that in the acknowledgements, one of the people my mother acknowledged is the person who typed this paper. She says, I want to also thank Miss Boudar Bala Fatiha for the help she gave me in typing and ordering this paper, which I found so interesting. Back in the days, like in my mom's generation, people used to actually write on paper and then pay somebody to write on a typewriter. So this is written on a typewriter, not a computer, a typewriter. I don't know why. I feel like that's the aesthetic I should have been living in, like a nice typewriter. So that is one thing I found really interesting, that there was like someone who wrote this by hand, my mom, and then somebody who typed this, completely other person, and who got paid because they had a typewriter. It's just printed weirdly. Like the back, it's quite old, so the back is all like, I have to read it like this, like that. The teacher-learner relationship. This relationship is of great importance. It may affect the success or failure of any method. In order to succeed in the task, a teacher must be able to create a healthy relationship with their students. The first thing to do is to arouse the interest and attention of students from different backgrounds. This can only be fulfilled if the teacher knows the social situation and the interests of the students. Such knowledge will help them not only to make a good relationship with their students, but also to foster better understanding in the students. Although the teacher is the leader and the head, there's page 23. Where's page 22? I don't have page 22. Okay, I couldn't find page 22, so let's just skip to page 20. Oh, okay. I was holding page 22. Although the teacher is the leader and the head of the class, they must respect the students. He must pay attention to the things he says and how he says them, because the tone can do a great damage to his relationship with them. And even though the students hold views different from his own on certain topics, he must not frustrate them. Warmth and understanding can create a good relationship in the classroom. The teacher must also help some of his students to do away with the fear of being laughed at by making them all participate in class, encouraging them and giving them the feeling of progress. He has to make an effort to help improve the learner's attitudes towards language and the people who speak it, advise them and help them in coping with some problems, especially those related to studies. This is fine as long as the teacher is careful not to show more favor to any one of his students above another. He must bear in mind the needs of all of his students for whom he is responsible. It's kind of interesting that my mom is right in this, like he, the teacher is always a he. But like there's more female teachers than male teachers. It's just interesting. I also think it has something to do with French. In French, we all say il. We don't say elle. It's like the dominant gender, like the masculine when we are writing. Young learners require a maximum of narrative and minimum of description. Children are more sensitive to anything that touches the senses. A method must also be adapted to learners' aptitudes. There are students who acquire the reading skills more easily than writing skills. Also, there are some students who are less intelligent than others, as this is a reality. So a method must take into consideration all of these factors. These techniques, which my mother wrote about in the 1980s, is actually the techniques which she used to teach me languages. Some of these flashcard techniques were actually used with me and my sister. I struggled with dyslexia and I had a speech impediment for 6 years, and in theory, I shouldn't be able to acquire languages. I think also growing up, I was always exposed to books about language, although maybe that affected me subconsciously, but I don't really remember. I don't know how to say this, but I never really look at my mom and say, oh, my mother studied linguistics. Anyways, it also reminded me of that saying, like, our interests choose us, we do not choose our interests. But anyways, that's all for this video. Merci beaucoup.